Welcome to Convincing Idiots. Thank you all for checking us out this week. You won't be disappointed. Tim, the astrophysicist, is back. There he is. This week, I kind of jump on my soapbox about Star Wars. You want to, chime in for that one? We talk about aliens, UAPs in the news. We talk about NASA. They have a huge announcement. You want to find out? If you didn't listen to that, listen to us. And then we talk about the congressional hearings. Aliens among us? Does the government know? Do we know? Who knows? Well, you will if you stay tuned. And then our final subject, the main event, Mount Rushmore of aliens in TV, movie, and beyond. All that and so much more. This week, you've tuned into the right spot. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the show.
No.
All right. Test.
Call it again? Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Think about death a lot and the underlying void of life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the podcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
I'm Tim, the astrophysicist.
There we go.
Yeah. TAF, Dean.
TAF.
TAF returns.
I like it. It
Yeah,
stands for
we know
tough as fuck, right?
That's right. We know
All
that
right.
F does not. We know we're misspelling astrophysicist. It was just a joke we had previously, Tim.
We are
Yeah.
idiots.
Yes.
No, I didn't get it, though. I'm sorry.
Shows how smart he is.
That's right. Well, Dean, we don't have Nick with us this evening. So do you have to know where he is?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Well, I don't want to speak out of school, but I heard he's being probed tonight. Actually, it's been happening the past few nights. He has to pay extra for it, but I hear it's going well.
Yes.
Was he abducted?
You could say that. There's a whole playing him and Robin do. It's She dresses up in a gray alien outfit and.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I heard is it's just a very strapping outfit. That's all I know.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
that's some information right there.
yes. Yes, indeed. But more information I'm going to share with you is who we are and where we can be found in Nick's absence here. So we are Convincing Idiots. We are a pop culture and nerdy podcast with three friends from three generations, sometimes more. We can be found wherever you listen to.
Are you saying we're more than friends? Aw.
Of course. Some more than friends, and sometimes we're more than three people. So
That's true.
That's right. So you might
no
be
matter
listening
what,
to,
I have to spit in my hand.
That's
Sorry,
right.
go ahead.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you might be listening to us wherever you're listening to podcasts. We could be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and many more. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just simply pull up the Convincing Idiots podcast. Give us a free subscribe or free follow, rate, review wherever you can, especially Apple Podcasts, helps others find the show. And as we publish new episodes weekly, we'll pop into your feed free of charge. Maybe we'll probe into your feed free of charge. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
And
Probe
if
your
you don't
brain.
do any of those, you hate your mom. It's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's what we think anyway. You might be watching us on our YouTube channel at Convincing Idiots. You also might see us on the Boss Code Media TV network. You can find them on your smart television or portable device. Simply download the Boss Code Media network. Download, subscribe, and we're on there with other creative content. All show information can be found in two main places. Our Linktree page is simply Google Linktree Convincing Idiots. It's simply a page with links to our social media, etc. And our website, if you go one place, you can go there, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. All show information is there. Links to new episodes, bios, our merch store, ways to sponsor the show. If you want to throw us a buck or two on occasion, we appreciate that. It keeps the show going. If you do anything at all,
I'll probe
go
somebody
ahead.
for $5.
Sure.
I'm just throwing it out there.
That's right. Dean will pay you
You're
$5.
a cheap date.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
That's what my
Dean's gonna pay
grandmother
you.
says.
That's right. That's right. That's if you do anything at all, just tell a friend, follow, share, all that good stuff. That's how we grow a little bit. That's right. So we appreciate your support out there. So, what is new? So let's start with our guest again. So astrophysicist Tim, one of my oldest friends, known since 8th grade. Tim,
The Return.
Seventh
seventh grade. That's right. I forgive
right.
me. That's right. 7th grade, and then this junior high school locally. So Tim was on an interesting episode a few episodes back. We talked about some UFOs and some interesting things, and we're going to carry on that conversation in this particular episode. But what's new, Tim? How you doing? How are you?
I'm doing all right. Bored as hell from retirement, but doing fine. It's good times.
Very good. Browns got a big win this past weekend, so we see if you're watching on video, Tim is one of the biggest Browns fans, as Dean, around. So they look pretty good first week.
What a difference a defensive coordinator makes.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's one. I did not expect that to happen with the Bengals. I thought it would be a closer game. I did not expect a complete shutdown. The secondary just did not allow anything that he had to pass underneath. It was, to me, it was just a different Browns defense that actually utilized that talent to the peak.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Schwartz continues with that with Monday night with Pittsburgh. I think they will. I don't think Pittsburgh really has a chance. So we'll see.
May the Schwartz be with you.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic as a Browns fan. It is the factory of sadness.
Yep.
So you get cautiously optimistic, even though every year I pick the Browns to win the Super Bowl. That way, when it does, I'm psychic. When they win, I'm psychic.
Yep.
There you go. That's it.
So if you want to know anything else new, my tattoo, got it finished. That's pretty much it. Well, I got dumped by that woman I was seeing, which she just ghosted me. I was pretty happy about that. No, I think she was kind of a problem.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I'm not going to any bad new stuff. I just want to stay in a positive new thing.
That's fine. So we're trying to do every day. Absolutely. All right.
Are we?
And
we're trying. We're not necessarily succeeding, but we are trying.
As an astrophysicist, I want to just let your audience know, and you guys know, October 14th this year, got a solar eclipse coming up. It's partial for us here in Ohio, and then on April 8th next year, we will get to see a total solar eclipse, probably for about 4 minutes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is
Yeah,
big
they
stuff.
already-
It's going to be fun.
They already sent out word for my son's school that they're letting him out early for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, it's going to get dark.
Yeah.
But,
It's nice
you know,
it's nice to do that. Yeah.
But just if
It's gonna be
I'm
weird to
trying to
have a
educate
president
people.
that doesn't stare right at the solar eclipse when it happens this time.
That's right. Yeah.
Fucking
right.
idiot.
All right. Awesome. Tune in for your pop culture and astrophysicist news.
That's right.
Great. Dean, how are you, sir? What's new with you?
Oh, not bad. I'm grumpy, man. I tell you what, I haven't been feeling great. I know, with kids going back to school, they bring home the bugs and the sickness and stuff. So it's in my chest, in my head. You know, I was shitting so much the other day with my asshole just dry heaving. It's been a rough few days. So for the show, I decided not. I don't know how well. I'm not going to drink beer. With the stomach upset. So I'll just take it easy this week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll stick to bourbon.
Yeah.
No, my son. We went to what was it? Subway, right? Making a sandwich, and he thinks. Get this. He thinks that I'm a grumpy old man.
Crazy.
I know, right? But I'm sitting there and this lady behind the counter, she's just making a mockery of this sandwich. She stops to answer the phone. It's just an awful experience. And I looked at him and I say, this is why. It's not my fault. I'm not the one to blame for my temperamental moods, for my grumpiness. It's these assholes I'm surrounded by on a regular basis. Whether I'm driving for work or I'm going to get a goddamn sub. These people come out of the woodwork to fucking annoy me.
Dean, when you're 80, you're going to be that guy telling the kids to get off his lawn.
Oh, I've already
80.
done that, actually. Yeah, I've actually literally already done that once.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Try 40 when he turned 40. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually
kids.
I was born 40 years old, so it's all right.
That was his own kids too, Tim.
Right.
That was so cute.
Get off our lawn.
Get off the lawn.
What's our lawn? Well, get off it. Anyway.
So yeah, other than that, I just got word. I had to work late, driving I was up in Cleveland and had to go down to Boardman, over to Canal Fulton, and I was all over the place today. So I didn't get the chance to go to my son's baseball game, but I did get word that he hit an in the park home run. So
that's awesome. That's great.
He's a fast little turd.
Good for him. That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. Other than that, we're moving.
You did
marching slowly to death.
You did help coordinate a bachelor party last weekend, I believe.
Yeah. My special lady friend, her father is getting remarried, so we went ahead and the girls went and did a whole bachelorette party, and there were just a few of us, so we just went out to dinner, had drinks, and I may have had a few too many drinks. I don't know. That might be surprising for some. But I woke up on the dog's bed, so my hip hurt and I couldn't breathe because of my allergies, and my hip's been hurting ever since. It's fuck.
Now I'm no astrophysicist, but if you wake up in the dog's bed, then you probably had too much to drink.
Yeah,
that's just the theory. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds worse than it is. It's not the dog's bed. It was like the small couch that only the dog uses. So it's an actual couch, but it sounds funnier if you say the dog's bed.
I see.
We call that Occam's razor. Why was Dean on the dog's bed? He drank too much. The simplest explanation tends to be the truth.
Sure.
There you go.
Or you have a brain tumor.
Yeah. Or how do you get a dog to stop? How do you get a dog to stop humping your leg? Pick it up and suck its dick.
That's a lot of information right there.
There you go. There you go. Insert rim shot noise.
No, fuck you. That joke was good.
Oh shit!
Well, nice of you to help host kids'
it was
bachelor
a
party.
good time.
Yes, very good. Well, I could not make it this past weekend because I was enjoying some time with Ali and young Nick and his family at the Oktoberfest. So we've done this the last couple of years. Obviously, you would have made it if you could have. We didn't have a conflict. We had a great time last Saturday night. The Akron German Club. The weather was absolutely perfect. It was just jam-packed, full of people. We had a park on a side street in someone's lawn. They were charging a couple bucks to park, but that's okay. We, great food, atmosphere, German beer. It's everything you want with that type of vibe. And
What more could you ask for?
That's right. Allie and I shut the place down. We were doing we were dancing to the polka band and different things. So
man?
It was a lot of fun.
Sad I missed that.
Yeah. I mean, it was
There's nothing better than a dancing Brian.
That's right.
I'm sure there's some video on the internet of it.
I hope so.
I think
we surveil everything. Somebody took a video.
That's possible. Yeah, if I'm dancing and it's not caring, then I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. It's having a great time. So it was great. It was great for Allie and I, and again, it's always good hanging out with Nick and his family. Always great folks. Yeah, and then today we're shooting this on Thursday, September the 14th, and I'll just not that she listens
Happy birthday,
to.
Peyton.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
My lovely daughter Peyton's birthday today. She'll never hear this because I don't think she listens at all, but that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
I sent her a message. Happy birthday.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So we're going to celebrate a little bit more on Saturday. We're going to go to a nice winery in Wadsworth and hang out and just relax and chill and all that good stuff. So looking forward to that.
I meet up with you guys, but I'm assuming Joey's going to be with you. And
Joey will be there. Yes,
we don't need any of that.
Yes, that's right. Peyton's Joey, not our other Joey. He's going to be our other Joey
next week.
Ignite. Yes, we're going to have another guest next week. Joey returns. He was on a few episodes. Also, we had a great time with him. So Joey from Ignite will join us again next week. So tune in for that. All right, guys. So we've been busy the last week or so. I don't know if anybody's had some time or has checked out anything new. Or just something you're still enjoying. So any idiot reviews, anything you wish to recommend? Dean, why don't we start with you? Anything you want to recommend or keep recommending, sir?
I got two. One, real quick. Did you guys know that Reno 911 is back?
No, I heard
Comedy
they were going to
Central?
reboot it or something.
Yeah, it's all the original cast from it. They're obviously older, but it's still the exact same. It's the same template. It's just as funny. Yeah, so it's on Comedy Central. Okay. So if you were a fan of that, it's just the same. So go ahead and watch it. And I'm sure, Brian, I know, Brian, you had to see it. Tim, I'm not sure if you have, but the newest episode of Asoka.
Yes.
I have been waiting till they all come out so I can just binge it all at once.
Oh, my God. This one, they had said before it came out that it was so anticipated that Disney had put it in a few theaters.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Huh.
And I'll tell you, I get it. It was, Brian, am I right? It was awesome.
Yes.
I don't know, how much spoilery we can. I mean, if you've seen the other two episodes or the last episode, you kind of know what was about to come. But like, you weren't ready for how they did it. It was awesome. Where should I go on spoilers, Brian? I mean, how far?
I think we got to wait another week or so.
Okay,
and not really announce who's making an appearance. Go ahead.
My only question, watching that this past episode, it made me think, Brian. You didn't watch the TV show Rebels, right?
Nope, I didn't see Clone Wars or Rebels. Actually,
are you still able to enjoy this? Because there's a lot of stuff that they showed some live action scenes from that show. That's not spoiler. That's, I mean, everything does flashbacks and whatever. So, but I'm watching that going, are the people that not even just casual people that just didn't watch the cartoons? They're still huge Star Wars fans. I guess if you're a huge Star Wars fan and you didn't watch cartoons, you at least looked up or you were aware of the characters, right? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get I was aware of the characters. I get the gist of it. You don't. It doesn't require a whole lot to really understand kind of what a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah.
Hey, is Katie Sackhoff in this at all?
In this series?
Yeah.
No. Not yet.
Okay.
She was in. Obviously, she was in Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, yeah.
But they're going to treat this like it's an Avengers thing. They're going to have all these series, and at the end, it's going to be everybody comes together for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's the plan for this. At least the running plan right now. They could change, or I could have read horse shit. But as far as I'm understanding, this is going to culminate into a movie. I've already heard that they're contemplating, and this could be just a rumor, they're contemplating the next season of Mandalorian just be a movie. How true that is?
I don't know. I read that they were putting it in production. It hasn't started filming or anything, but they're writing scripts. But nobody has made a commitment whether it's a movie or another season.
Okay.
So, but I heard they're talking about a movie, but they're also talking about doing another season of Mandalorian. I read that probably about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I read it.
I mean, it's the best. I mean, these last few series, I mean, have been some of the best Star Wars content in a long time. It's certainly better than the last three movies, for crying out loud. So they may as well continue these and capitalize on. Why not?
Okay. Can we take a moment here? I know you weren't a fan of the sequels, right? They were problematic at some points, but look at it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, give it 1992, we'll call it, right? 1992, we were all fucking absolutely sure we were not going to get any more Star Wars for the rest of our lives.
That is true.
And now we look at 2023, and we have an overabundance. Whether you didn't 100% like some of the other things, just the fact that we have it and that it's continuing and opening to a broader story. It's just amazing. I think fans need to at least sit and appreciate that.
But we ended up getting the Phantom Menace and Hayden. What is his name? Christian. Hayden Christensen. Yeah.
But I wish they'd redo those three
movies.
Now that dude's starting to get his flowers now. People are starting to come back again, and that's going to happen with the sequels. I guarantee you, people are going to look back 15 years and go, you know what? They weren't horrible. And then the next year, I kind of dig them. You know what I mean? Like, time heals all wounds. It's just when you see something new and it's so far out there, or maybe even too close, right?
Yeah.
That I think the only problem have the issue.
The only problem I had with the sequel was the first one was I can't remember it right now. It was just a retelling of A New Hope.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it was just completely A New Hope with a new script, but the same plot. That was the only problem I had with it. I did like the twist, that she was a Palpatine, not a Skywalker. So, this.
My problem with
they weren't bad.
I liked them. I liked the characters. I think the second one fucked the third one.
Yeah, for sure.
As a standalone movie, it would have been cool, but as a progression of a Star Wars trilogy, the second one fucked the plot line to where the third one they had to just kind of retcon and force feed some shit and do wild shit. Like, you bring Palpatine back, that is not that's how the story progresses. We got shit on so bad from that second one. We have to do something so crazy and in their faces that they're never going to expect it. You get to see Palpatine again. You know what I mean? So I think the second one hurt the third one. But if you would have taken any one of them by themselves, they're okay, decent. And I think, like I said, I think that they're going to get their flowers someday, just like the prequels are now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we'll we'll get into more Star Wars content. We're going to be celebrating our 3-year anniversary coming up here in October, and we're going to go back and revisit Star Wars content that we did all the way back in episode number 1. Actually, we rated all the movies back then. So now that there's been
we have a lot more to rate.
Yes, that's right. There's been, well, it's not been more movies, but there's been more content, certainly all the series and everything else. And you're right, Dean. Sometimes if I'm thinking, this isn't necessarily the best episode or something like that, I pause and I think, like what you're saying. I think about me as a kid, and to think watching Star Wars on the big screen, just to say the original, to think that someday I would be sitting at home on a large screen television with the quality of picture that we have at home now, with a flat screen, high def sound, the whole bit, like watching a movie at home these days.
Yeah,
and all this content, I would have been like, you wouldn't even be able to get your head around it. You know what I mean? So, So what the hell?
Because I do agree. My biggest thing about the prequels, the Palpatine was silly. Just that was ham-fisted. But to me, the worst thing about it was how they treated Luke Skywalker. I think that's what most of the fans had the problem with. If I were to guess,
I agree.
That is the biggest sin. Other than that, you still got to see Chewbacca and Han Solo, and people are like, "Oh, Han Solo died." That's because that's probably what Harrison Ford agreed to in order to come back.
I agree with that. Yep.
You know, he probably was like, "Can I kill him? All right, then I'll do it." You know, that wasn't a plot device. That was Harrison Ford giving you what you wanted and he wanted. So
that's right.
Okay, right, I'm off my soapbox.
That's fine. Anything else, Dean?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Tim, anything you've watched or listened or anything you wish to recommend in Idiot Review, sir?
Well, let's see. I did watch The Pope's Exorcist last week.
How was that?
It was okay. I liked seeing Russell Crowe playing an Italian guy with the Italian accent, a priest, but it wasn't bad. If you have to want to be entertained by it to be entertained by it. They are going to make a sequel.
Right.
They are making a sequel.
Just like our podcast, by the way, that's one of our slogans.
What's that?
You have to want to be entertained by it to be entertained by it.
Right.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I have been educated.
You're the only one. Clearly.
I like that. Actually, we should start using that.
I do.
Put on a fucking shirt or something. Go ahead, Tim.
But I have been educated, or you have to want to be entertained to be entertained?
Probably a little bit of both.
I'll license it out. It's
okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
I just finished watching the new series of Justified. If you never watched it, it was on FX. It's about a U.S. Marshal. The original Justified was set in Kentucky. This one was set in Detroit. Julius watched it with me, and it has inspired Julius to become a U.S. Marshal.
Oh,
so
wow.
He has decided he's going to go back to school, probably major in criminology or something, become a cop, and then try to get into the U.S. Marshal Service. So
there you go. Great.
And that kind of stoked me. I'd like to be able to sit around and say, "Hey, my son's a U.S. Marshal, and I hope he wears the cowboy hat." They don't allow it, but I want him to.
Yeah, of course.
So you should check it out. The Justified is a good show. Timothy Oliphant, I think, does really well. He gets that Appalachian accent down pretty good.
He is one of the most underrated actors out there, in my belief.
And Jim Caviezel as well. Those are two really underrated actors. Oliphant was in Deadwood on HBO, if you ever watched that. He was excellent in that. So, yeah, those are good. I've been...
Is Jim Caviezel in Justified?
No, Jim Caviezel is not in Justified.
Oh, okay. You're just stating that as an underrated
I'm just saying that he's another underrated... Gotcha. Anson Mount is another underrated actor. He was in Hell on Wheels. Yeah, he can. He was in Hell on Wheels, and now he's in Star Trek, the new Star Trek. So, and he plays Christopher Pike. I haven't watched the latest episodes of that yet. I've watched the first season, but I got some more episodes of the second season to watch. But it's a pretty good show. It's not bad, and so that's about it. Other than looking at the sky for UFOs, UAPs, maybe seeing an alien in my backyard. Nothing's happened yet.
Okay.
Yep, there we go.
I like that. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I haven't really seen anything new that I could think of. Again, I could, as you mentioned, I continue to watch Asoka. That's the one show I've been watching every week. I continue to watch season 2. I've mentioned this before, of Winning Time. This is the story of the 80s Lakers on Max. I'm just really enjoying this. Again, I was a big fan of the Celtics and Lakers rivalry in the 80s, and they really play that up pretty well as far as the guy that plays Larry Bird's very good. I don't know what his name is right now. I have to look it up here, but I just think it's a lot of fun. So if you're at all a fan of Magic Johnson and that era, or if you just like 80s nostalgia, again, go check out that show. And John C. Reilly is just fabulous. Fabulous as Dr. Jerry Buss, the former owner of the Lakers. And I've been continuing work. Go ahead. You got a question?
Just real quick, is it a ridiculous statement to say John C. Reilly will win an Oscar before he dies?
I hope he does. He's good.
I agree.
If he gets the right role, I mean, he's a great actor.
He kills it anything he's in.
Yeah,
I know,
see that, but dude. When you see him, like if you watch Boogie Nights or anything, I hear Kermit the Frog when he talks. I don't know why.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. He's just
I don't know
funny.
who I would be more happy to see win an Oscar. John C. Reilly or Paul Giamatti would be another one that I would love to win an Oscar.
Yeah, those type of guys that are
Giamatti
comedic
is such. Yeah, I was going to say Giamatti is such a he's a niche actor. He's always played the same guy kind of over and over. So is Reilly. I've been really surprised with him in Winning Time. Yeah, I think he's a great actor. He's just got to get that right role in order to get that Oscar.
If you get a chance, listen to the podcast Chinwag. It's Paul Giamatti's. It's him and his professor friend. Either he might be a professor of like philosophy or something. But Chinwag on anywhere you get podcasts, it's Paul Giamatti. That dude's fucking awesome. Like you'll love him as a person and as an actor.
Okay, but like I said, John C. It would not be unheard of to me to hear his name for an Emmy nomination for this show. Seriously,
Good.
Anyway.
Well, I think the show's got to be nominated for an Emmy. The show needs to win an Emmy. It's a great show.
I think it's good. I mean, it's a fictionalized whatever, but it's still pretty true, Anyway, and then I've been working through the new season of Futurama, Dean.
Yes.
Just so good.
It is.
So good. I'm just like halfway through it. I watched one right before the show here. And they were making fun of Amazon. Man, just very smart, clever. Yep. I love hearing all the old voices again. If you're a fan of Futurama, you will not be disappointed by the new season 11 on
Billy
Hulu.
West is a master.
He really is. Really is. And I continue to enjoy Only Murders in the Building as well. Martin Short, Steve Martin.
I still got to get that. Start that new season.
Yeah, go watch that. It's very, very good too. So that's it. But nothing new other than continuing to watch what I've been watching. So
good.
Speaking of Winning Time, have you watched Magic vs. Bird, the documentary?
I saw that on Max listed, but I have not watched it yet. No.
You gotta watch it, and it'll take you back to when we were kids.
Okay.
Because that rivalry between those two. You think of rivalries and
isn't that when they had the apple basket and you had to put the medicine ball up and through it?
Not quite.
Well, that was a long time ago, man. Dang. How old do you think we are?
Oh, my mic cut out. What was that?
I said, how old do you think we are? But it's all great sports stories have to have that rivalry. And when you think of Bird and Magic Johnson, especially when Larry Bird talks about that rivalry between the two, it's just phenomenal. You have to watch it. And it's a well done documentary. You get a little emotional when Magic Johnson announces he has HIV and everything, but it's just a good.
You got
it's a good
emotional. How do you think
documentary.
his wife felt?
Yeah.
I think she knew before she married him that he was
she
HIV.
kept
I'm not
coughing.
positive. Yes, she kept coughing. That's just wrong.
Yeah, but you're right. Those two, you can't think of one without the other. Those two. It's
Right.
one of the few rivalries at that level, all the way back to college, obviously. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out. So, all right, guys. So I think we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back with. If you are a fan of UFO talk, UAP, STD, alien,
You got
whatever.
my attention.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to cover all those topics, most of those topics, probably all those topics, actually, in our next segment.
And if you've ever
Go ahead.
and if you've ever gotten an STD from an alien or a UAP, stay tuned. You're going to want to listen.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
That would
Come
be
back.
some seriously bad shit, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll tell you about it later.
All right. Come back for more probing after the break.
Segment 2 in 5, 4, 3.
All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots, Segment 2. Zennial Dean,
Deuces.
Gen X Brian, and Astrophysicist Tim. Not easy to say.
No,
It's
a
a
mouthful.
tongue twister.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yes. Well,
Like
we
most
are
things,
all-
Tim,
Go ahead.
it's a mouthful.
That's right. That's right.
From what I hear. What? I'm just saying, I read your fucking diary.
I have 7.
I know, I had to read all of them.
Oh, good.
Well, gentlemen, we are all, I know we're all interested in the subject of UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them now, aliens, life out there. I know that's a topic that we are all very interested and fascinated about. And again, obviously, we talked about that a couple episodes ago with Tim. And there's some some stories we're going to elaborate on further. We didn't get a chance to the whole UFO hearing in Congress, but just today there's been a couple news stories out there that we're going to start with here. One, if you haven't seen this out there, you can look this up very easily here. But the headline here, this is from Reuters.com. Mexican Congress holds hearing on UFOs featuring purported alien bodies. And there's photos of these things here.
There sure are.
So, this is from yesterday, the 13th. So, just reading this for a second. Mexican lawmakers heard testimony that we are not alone in the universe and saw the alleged remains of non-human beings in an extraordinary hearing marking the Latin American country's first congressional event on UFOs. So, politicians were shown 2 artifacts that Mexican journalist and longtime UFO enthusiast Jamie Maussan claimed were the corpses of extraterrestrials. The specimens were not related to any life on Earth, he said. 2 tiny bodies displayed in cases. So they have, imagine what a stereotypical alien would look like, and this is probably pretty much what these things look like here. He said that they were about 1,000 years old and analyzed through a carbon dating process by Mexico's National Autonomous University. and similar finds in the past have turned out to be the remains of mummified children. So basically, this guy's just claiming that he has proof of these alien bodies here. And you look at these things here, to me, it kind of looks like, well, it could be a mummified. It does. It actually does look like E.T. It could be a mummified child. It could be as completely fake. It doesn't. It looks sort of like if you go to the local carnival and you spend 25 cents to go view, the tiny humans.
Yep.
Well, the tiny humans and the coffins and stuff like that.
That is something P.T. Barnum would have purchased and brought to his show.
Yes. Right. So I'm interested to know, first of all, before we get into other topics here, your opinion on this particular one here. So is this a completely ridiculous fake? Any remote chance that there's any truth to this whatsoever? Or is this guy just, trying to get publicity or something like that? So, Tim, why don't we start with you?
Well, the hearing was started because there was a new law in Mexico. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to read off my notes here. There was some language in this law for aerial protection, which acknowledged the existence of aliens. They would have been the first nation to acknowledge that. So that's what brought these hearings up. Jaime Maussan has in the past been discredited and debunked with stuff he's brought forward. He's a self-proclaimed UFO expert. His stuff that he's come out with has not panned through. He's brought bodies before, and the bodies turned out to be mummified children. Now, what they showed in this was that these things had 3 fingers, 3 digits, and an elongated skull. So skulls in that culture, so they said they dated these about 700
What if they
to
were just really bad
ago.
little shop teachers?
So they lost 2 of their digits.
Yeah.
All right. I agree with that. Hey, you got to cut something. But this is the second time Jaime has said that these bodies were found near the Nazca lines in Peru. If you don't know what the Nazca lines are, they're not carvings, but they're these emblems on the Nazca plateau, and they're very large, and they said that they made it for their gods. And a lot of ancient alien theories, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call them, says that the Nazca lines were made by aliens, and that was done as landing pads for their aircraft. I don't know that. I don't have any evidence. I don't believe that. If they were being visited, why would they need a landing pad? They just zoom down and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So So I'm not sure what the Nazca lines are, but this is the second time he's brought forward something like this. This is the first time that it was actually covered by a lot of media. It was the first time it's gotten mainstream media coverage. But there were some other things that happened with this that there weren't really red flags with me. I just had to ask questions about. So one of the things he said was that they performed X-ray, 3D reconstruction, and DNA analysis on these things. And in the DNA analysis, they made this vague statement that they said that it was 30% different from humans. So I actually, my ex-wife, she did genetics work. She's a biologist. So I actually called her to find out if that meant anything to her. And she's like, well, no. And I said, it's a pretty vague statement to say there's a 30% difference. And she could only think of that it was out of sequence. If you remember Jurassic Park, there's that great scene where the Velociraptor has the GACQ thing, the GAT. It has the genetic markers being printed up on its face. Mm-hmm. So those sequences may not be human, and there's a 30% difference. This is what she was saying. And so the problem I have with this is that there's no corroboration. There's no third-party corroboration of the DNA analysis, nothing of the 3D reconstruction, nothing X-ray. This is a lot of anecdotal stuff. Yes, he produced bodies, but any good in science, when you make a proclamation like that, you need to have corroboration with other things. Anytime you see a phenomenon, you make a hypothesis. If you prove or disprove the hypothesis, that's usually sent. Another team will try to pull it up. We don't see that here. There's no publishing. I have a problem with that. So, to me, I'm leaning towards that this is a hoax that's being perpetuated on the Mexican people by a guy who wants to make some money. And because he's been discredited before, I just don't know. If this is true, open up these bodies to more vigorous scrutinization, especially with the technology we have here in the United States. Let us and have independent investigators corroborate what he's saying, and let's make sure that this is what it is before we jump off and say, oh, we got the ancient aliens. We got proof of ancient aliens. I guarantee you, those conspiracy theorists about ancient aliens, right now they're frothing at the mouth. They're like, yeah. So that's my analysis of this. There's a lot of red flags, and I'm a scientist, so I like Occam's razor and I like the KISS principle: keep it simple, stupid. And this is not passing either one.
Yeah, very good, Tim. Very thorough analysis.
Thanks.
Dean, what do you think, Dean?
Okay, it looks fake as shit. Let's start there.
That's right.
But,
yeah, I agree with that.
and if it's real or fake, regardless, it's going to have so much scrutiny on it, on either side. Why, if you care so much about like the public knowing and understanding that that there is life out there, that aliens are real, that UAPs are real, the government is willing to have a congressional hearing and announce it,
right.
and you muck it up with bringing this real or fake. People are going to scrutinize it to where it makes it puts a cloud on the whole hearing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, why would you do it? Bring it in another time, another setting. Don't muck up the actual proceedings, which is going to be historical. But now all anybody gets to talk about, which is that's what he wanted, about these little carved out. They look like carved stone to me. But anyways, I just don't understand. No. I do understand why he did it, but he shouldn't have if he cares so much about the authenticity and going forward the reality of governments all over, admitting that this is real, that they're out there. He's just, he's fucking it up. So,
well, a guy like that doesn't care though, right? So a guy like that is he's just trying to get like Tim said, he's just looking for publicity and make some money or something like that.
If I was the rest of the UFO community, I would be pissed.
Well, the one person I'm waiting to hear from about this is from George Knapp. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's an investigative reporter out in Las Vegas. One of the things I find about Knapp is he tries to have some objectivity to the stuff that he reports and everything. He is a proponent for the UFOs and for disclosure, but he doesn't look through anything with rose-colored glasses. He wants to get down into it and see what it said. So I think he's going to go in here and say, this doesn't pass the smell test. You're full of shit.
Yep.
So,
very good. Yeah, so I think we all agree it's a bunch of garbage. Okay, Tom,
just real quick, I'm not saying it's garbage.
Okay.
I'm saying it's garbage the way it was presented. I don't know for real. I didn't see it in person. I just saw a picture. So, it could be. Who knows? I wasn't there for any DNA analysis. I wasn't there for any of that. My opinion is I don't know if it's real or not. So I don't want to just say this is a sack of shit. It's garbage. My thing was it was bad timing.
How about this then? If he is knowingly, purposely putting this out there and he knows it's fake, then shame on him, because you're right, Dina. There's a lot of attention on this now, and then you continue to create scrutiny in the real thing. To your point, so that point, I think we all agree. if I may. Okay. Very good. Earlier today, September the 14th, NASA had a live stream on YouTube to have some type of a announcement, report, what have you. You can find this out there on YouTube. You can watch the replay. I did listen to the replay this morning. The gist of their announcement really was that they are they have a unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. So that's kind of the new term for UFO, the modern term. So they're appointing a director of research for UAPs. And when questioned, who is this person, they were not going to release the name, at least at this time, because they were saying things like they want the research to be kind of free in, I guess not to have an individual scrutinized or harassed or whatever it is, right?
It's going to come out.
Yeah, it'll be out eventually. And then they also announced they were coming up with some type of a report, which was released later today. And if I read that correctly, kind of the summary that I have anyway, and certainly you guys can elaborate, was that they basically are saying there are definitely UAPs out there. We don't know exactly what they are, but we're not necessarily stating that they're non-human, right? So there's definitely some out there that we don't know what they are for sure. We're going to continue to research. Yeah, and they were questioned by various reporters and different people today. And do you think the government has other information that you don't, so forth? And NASA did at least state that they are committing that any data that they have will be transparent. So they can't speak for anything else the government may have. But what they're saying is if it's within NASA, it will be transparent data. So, in my opinion, it was sort of maybe a much to do about nothing kind of, but it was also interesting that they are coming out and basically
that was the big thing was them stating that they're going to have this research program, director and program. Again, does it mean shit? Probably not. Seems like a lot of them just washing their hands of because when Congress has a hearing like that, NASA goes, "Oh shit, that's our department. Fuck. All right, we have to say something." And this is them going, "Okay, this is kind of what we got there. Sure, there we go."
Yeah, kind of felt that way a little bit. I don't know. It seemed like to be unnecessary kind of hoopla. I don't know, but that was
the guy at the end of the panel. That last guy at the end of the panel, he definitely wanted people to know that he didn't buy any of this, and that a majority of things were balloons. He couldn't have said that enough. He kept repeating that fucking thing over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know, Tim. What do you think about all this? The conference today, NASA appointing the director for research for UAPs. What's your opinion, sir?
Hold on, real quick, before you get into it, Tim. Just briefly go back over real quick. What makes you qualified for this?
I'm an astrophysicist. I worked for the National Aerospace Intelligence Center for 20 years, well, close to 20 years, both as a contractor and as a government civilian employee. One of the things I did was a geospatial intelligence analysis as well as art research and development. So that's pretty much it. I've studied these things. In 2016, I got to see the Tic Tac video before it was declassified. One of the reasons why it was declassified was because we were not able to attribute it to any country or to ourselves. It wasn't our technology. We don't know of any country that has the technology of what you see in the Tic Tac video. So that's what qualifies me. I have opinions.
That's exactly what I wanted the listeners and viewers to know before you went forward with this.
And just real quick to share Dean and I's qualifications. We read stuff online. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yep.
I read headlines, but yeah. So
Okay.
I'm on here.
The other thing, I will tell you that I have followed the whole UFO thing for a very long time. I've been fascinated with all things astronomy, other life, everything. I've always been interested in it, and that's one of the reasons why I went and became an astrophysicist. Actually, I wanted to be an astronomer, but
Big deal, big deal, Tim.
physicist, astronomer.
I watched the majority of the movie Fire in the Sky once, so I
That's-
might be a little more qualified. I don't know. That's
great
for
movie.
the public to decide.
I saw that movie. It scared the shit out of me.
I watched most of it.
So, but yeah, that's it. So, what did I think about that? I'm going to read something to you, and I just want you guys to give me your honest opinion on this.
Yeah.
The top takeaway from the study is that there's a lot more to learn.
Right.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin, but we don't know what these UAP are. That is okay. What do you guys think of that statement?
I mean, at least, part of me is like, well, they're not saying it's alien, but yeah, they are. I'm focusing more on that they are admitting that we don't know what some of these are. That they're not trying to call it something that they know it isn't. So they are outwardly saying there's stuff out here, we don't know what it is, and we're going to look into it. That's what I took it.
The way I took it was one of the big things for me was the word transparency going forward.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Well, but here's the thing.
They say that. Oh my God! They say that.
No.
It's not going to happen.
I understand that because they know a lot more than they're telling us, and they're not being transparent. But when they say transparency, that is giving them the washing of the hands to, like, if a fucking spacecraft hits on the fucking White House lawn, it gives them cover.
They'll
You know what I
still
mean?
deny it. They'll still deny it.
No, but you see what I'm saying? That's them saying,
I got
we're going to be transparent. We can no longer go, you've been lying to us. They're like, no, this is being transparent. You know what I mean? I think that is lawyer speak to cover for other things in the future.
Well, what I got from the statement, and this is the cynical me, this is typical politician bullshit rhetoric.
Yeah.
Not being non-committal or anything else. And it was uttered by none other than Bill Nelson, one of the most blatant politicians on the face of the earth. He's the NASA administrator appointed under Biden. And Bill Nelson, all you have to do is go back. Bill Nelson would never commit to anything. He always made general statements like this. And when I read that, I was just like, you're a piece of shit. Just, get politicians out of the way. Let the scientists come in. Let them take over. Let them figure it out. Get some engineers in there, because I'm telling you, what I saw here, what I heard from that hearing, what I've seen, there's no way that these are terrestrial. There's no way that this technology is by anybody on the earth. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But what NASA is doing here, we're going to appoint a committee. We're going to be transparent. We're going to have a head of it. Well, there is a committee already. It's called ARROW, the All-Domain Anomalous, God, now I got to remember what, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Okay. That was formed after Trump declassified the Tic Tac video and the Go Fest video with the USS Roosevelt. So Arrow's out there already. So now NASA's going to step in. Now, NASA was directed to step in after when the hearings were coming up. They were directed. NASA wants to keep their hands off this shit. They really do, because it doesn't look good for them. NASA's gotten a lot of hits. I mean, we have SpaceX. They're doing things a lot better and cheaper than what NASA could ever do. So NASA has black eyes everywhere. The Obama administration destroyed the space program. Guys like Elon Musk, even Jeff, Bezos, they started going privatized. They're building better stuff. They're doing things better. You got some kinks, but NASA doesn't want that stigmatization.
Don't we all?
They don't want that stigma sitting there going, oh, we're investigating UFOs. They really don't want it. That's why they're placating. And that's what's going on here. This is all placation to make everybody to keep the sheep at bay is what it is. Not the wolves. They want the sheep falling in line. Oh, we're going to placate you. We're going to do this because you're asking for it. Because you guys think about going back, UFOs, UAPs, they're going to change the name again. That was science fiction. It was science fiction. Then it moved. Then the whole idea of aliens moved onto this peripheral conspiracy theory type thing. And now it's become more extreme and was actually entered into the pop culture. 75 to 80% of the people polled in the United States have said, yeah, we believe that we've been visited by aliens. That is phenomenally high. Go back to 1970s, I think it was below 50%. So things are going on. And the last thing we need is a bunch of politicians stepping in, grabbing money, and saying, we got this. Because they don't. If they know what it is, they're not going to tell us, because that's what politicians do. They want to control the information. You control man, I sound like a conspiracy theorist. You control the information, you have power, and you get money. So, I'm sorry. But yeah, there was... I watched that. There was nothing new said in that, and I was not. It's exactly what I expected to happen with NASA.
I agree with that.
Good stuff.
I'm sorry, I went on a rant there.
No, I agree with all but 3 words of what you said, and you can pick out which ones those were.
I wouldn't know.
It's a joke.
Right.
I gotcha.
Well, we didn't have a whole lot of time to, I don't remember if we got into it much at all, or at least we ran out of time the last time, but the whole whistleblower.
No, that didn't even come up before. No, the whistleblower thing happened. Yeah, it happened after he was on.
Okay, well, there you go. So that happened in July?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, it was in July 31st, I believe. Okay.
So now, Tim, you sent some extra notes on this, so why don't we start with you on this? So again, this was ex-military and some other,
All 3 were ex-military.
Okay. Had a hearing with Congress and basically testified.
Grush wasn't a pilot, though, right?
No, they both were. Oh no, Grush was not a pilot. He was a NRO NGA analyst.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a Air Force major.
Okay. Yeah, all 3 had some very interesting testimony. So, I know, Tim, you have a lot of notes on this here. So, what was that hearing, and what are your opinions?
Well, it was the House Oversight Subcommittee on National Security, Border, and Foreign Affairs. 3 guys came forward. If anybody cares what I thought about these, all of them were credible. I believed every word they said. I only questioned one's motives. And I'll explain why. We had Lieutenant Ryan Graves. He was a Navy F-18 pilot. He really testified more about the lack of appropriate reporting. He needed more reporting avenues for the pilots, especially commercial pilots. One of the reasons why pilots don't come forward is that it used to be with the FAA, you reported an object, you got grounded immediately. And I worked with a woman whose husband was a pilot, I think, for American Airlines. She told me that he would not report any kind of an anomalous thing that he saw because he would be grounded, and that's money. Pilots have to fly. So Graves, I found Graves was amazing.
I know a girl like that. I give her money and she go down. No, that's different. No, that's different. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Totally different.
It is. Commander Fravor. This was the pilot of the Tic Tac. He was the commander of the Black Aces Squadron with USS Nimitz in 2004. He was the one that filmed the Tic Tac. And this guy was everything he said. I mean, it was amazing. He put stuff
one of the most credible people to come forward, right?
Nobody could put a hole in anything he said.
Correct.
He even put holes in things because he couldn't corroborate some of the things he said, and he said why, and not so. It was really good. Then we have David Grush. He was a former major. He's a former major in the United States Air Force. He worked. He was an intelligence officer, an NGA civilian. Excuse me. He worked for the National Reconnaissance Office, which I have a pretty good story if you guys want to hear about that. And he did NRO UAP investigations. I found him very credible. I believe him, but I do question his motives. I'm not sure what he is not none of these guys were UAP whistleblowers. Grush identified as a fraud, waste, and abuse whistleblower because in his investigations, he saw that there were secret programs that were being conducted without congressional oversight. So how you want to see this, any program that goes on with the military, any money that's being spent by the military, any part of the government, Congress oversees that. That is, they control the purse. So the fact that this stuff was going on and Congress wasn't overseeing it, that's where he became the whistleblower. And he started getting some repercussions because he went to the Inspector General, the IG, identified as a whistleblower, told him what was going on. If you don't know the power of the Inspector General, when I was in the Army, I watched generals' asses pucker when the IG walked in for an inspection, because the IG would screw and fuck people up. They would crawl up into things, and if there was just a little thread, they would unravel that whole thread. And no commander liked to have the IG come in and do an inspection. And they certainly didn't like having an IG complaint. So he comes out, goes to the IG, identifies as a whistleblower, and then there's repercussions, and that's what they're investigating. So that's one of the reasons why he was there testifying. Now, if you watch this video, if you watch the hearing, so you have, as you're looking at it, you have Graves on the right. Graves on the left, Fravor on the right, and in the middle was Grush. Now, right behind Grush was George Knapp, which I kind of expected him to be there. But next to George Knapp was one that really kind of freaked me out. This guy's name was James Clapper. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was the first director of national intelligence. He was a general in the Air Force. I believe it was the Air Force. He formed the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, formerly known as the National Imaging and Mapping Administration, formerly known as Defense Mapping Administration. He accumulated so much political power that he formed a new 3-letter intelligence agency and it's huge. NGA is freaking huge. They monitor everything. So you have NGA, and he becomes the first director of national intelligence, and he's sitting behind Grush during this testimony. I don't know why James Clapper's there. That's why I start wondering, is he there acting like the Godfather in the back saying, don't go against the family? Yeah, I don't know. But things were said. And Graves really, he kind of shook me up a little bit when he said as much as 95% of the stuff is going unreported. 95% of the sightings are going unreported. And what he said was what he saw was a dark gray to black cube inside a clear sphere. And he observed it going at Mach 2. But what was even more amazing was that this thing was stationary at Mach 0.0. That means it's stationary. And it's stationary at 0 airspeed and at the same geographical point in Category 4 winds. Category 4 hurricane winds. This thing's staying still. And then it quickly accelerated to Mach 1, 1.2. So Mach is the speed of sound. So you're in hurricane force winds, especially Category 4. We're talking 125, 140 miles an hour. This thing's hovering at 20,000 feet in those winds, not being affected by the winds, and then takes off. To me, that's scary. All right. He also said he also talked about an event in 2003 where Boeing contractors were at Vandenberg. I think it was Vandenberg Air Force Base. Yeah, Vandenberg Air Force Base saw a red square, approximately 100 yards and 100 yards in length, approach from the sea. hovered over a launch site for 45 seconds, and then quickly moved off over the mountains. Then he talked about a training incident where an object was reported stationary at the entrance to the work area, and that there was a near mid-air collision. They missed by 50 feet. That's pretty damn close.
Mm-hmm.
So these are. He talked about the Gimbal Go Fast video with the USS Roosevelt. You'd have to look that up on YouTube. It's out there. It shows the USS Roosevelt, and then you see two UAPs zooming across the way. Commercial pilot. He also talked about commercial pilots. So his advocacy is to make sure that there is a more robust, a more a better way for pilots, both military and civilian, to report what they see. Because if they report more, even though it's anecdotal, you can start taking sensors and watching these things. You can develop, but you got to get the reports in so you know what's going on. One of the things he brought up was that, and I knew this, but it didn't really hit me. Commercial pilots, they're flying their jets and everything, their jumbo jets. They don't have. Oh, what's this? Am I doing something wrong?
No, I'm giving you a hand signal. We have 10 minutes left in the segment.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
he
okay.
talked about them not having IFF capabilities, identify friend or foe. This could be exploited. So that's a thing. They see these things, they can't identify it. So, and he wants radar signals to be correlated. Now, Fravor, this guy cracked me up a little bit. He was on a training mission in San Diego, and he got notification that they were going to real-world ops. So they stopped the training mission, went into real-world ops because they were chasing a bogey. If you watch the Tic Tac video, he says that they were being jammed with their radar was being jammed. So they had to do passive targeting, passive tracking, and they did it in the infrared. Strawberry. So they did that, and this is what is really big about it. The object, they lost sight of the object, and 1 minute later, they were told by the air traffic controller that the target appeared 60 miles behind them a minute later. It was 1 minute, 60 seconds. It was 60 miles behind them. That means this thing accelerated to Mach 5, 3,600 miles per hour, at 20,000 feet, and did it in 1 minute. Moved 60 miles in 1 minute. That's fast. The technology, and he talked about the technology. We don't have technology like that. If you're a body inside of that thing and you go from 150 knots to Mach 5, yeah, you're going to liquefy. You're done. Your bones are going to be. So inertia will kill you.
That's not exactly true. I'm saying is that we don't have things fast enough like that. Because I know Blake Insurance can save you money just that fast. Because I tell you, Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell them that the aliens from Convincing Idiots sent you.
Very good. I think Aaron's going to get into UAP insurance as well.
He's going to
That's coming.
I think.
Yeah. All right, so it's very compelling testimony. I mean, I think a lot of us gathered from that definitely these are credible guys. That there are things out there that do not make sense, and if they wanted to cause harm, we would have no way to. There's nothing we could do. I mean, the technology that is. Yeah. So what do you think?
So Grush,
go ahead.
I wanted to point out something that Grush said, just so that everybody understands.
Mm-hmm.
He made the comment that that the United States is actively searching crash sites and reverse engineering non-human technology.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that happened during this hearing is that they kept saying they couldn't get a skiff. There was a reason why they couldn't get a skiff. I didn't know it until later. Grush no longer had a security clearance.
Right, they pulled it.
So that I don't know if they pulled it or if it was just deactivated. They didn't say. I couldn't find out if it was revoked, suspended, or just.
From my understanding, from what I've heard, is that they were questioning about his PTSD. And they were giving him shit about that. And I think what I'd heard was they weren't sure if that's why they took it from him or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I read the stuff about his PTSD and everything. What I can tell you is,
I'm just trying to discredit him.
Yeah, that's all it is. Because working at Right Pat, I can tell you that the intelligence community, with how people feel about PTSD, especially coming from Afghanistan and everything, they're not going to release that and say, "Oh, he suffers from depression and has PTSD." They don't. Right. He was getting help. They don't care. So I couldn't find out. So I can't corroborate either way if it was suspended or not. But because he didn't have a security clearance, they couldn't go into a skiff because he couldn't talk about classified information anyways. But that statement he made, I'll tell you, I'm 99.9% positive that statement is classified. So he says something classified, but when they ask him direct questions about the contractors, we need to go into a skiff. So the fact that they couldn't get a skiff, which was reiterated by the committee a few times, almost tells me he had a way out not to put anything out there, and to put it on record in the committee and with Congress. And that's something that didn't sit well with me. That's why I question the motives. Just say it, get it out there, and let it go. If you're going to whistle blow. Don't go halfway and then stop. It doesn't work for me. He's credible. I believe everything he said. Some of the things he said I know to be a fact. So yeah. So all I can tell you and tell anybody that's watching this, start preparing for disclosure. Something's going to be disclosed in a few years. I don't know what it is. It could be that we actually say UAPs are aliens from Alpha Centauri. I don't know. Or it could be we have a technological breakthrough and here's our technology.
I've got a quick one. Do you think that it might be, boys, do you think it might be weird or different than, do you think the American public would be easier accepting that, like, aliens from outer space, or these are aliens from outer space, or would it be harder to understand that they're interdimensional?
Well, the whole interdimensional thing, it isn't really that hard when you put it into perspective.
But you're also an astrophysicist.
Well, no. Let me give you an example.
Go ahead.
We live in the third dimension. We are bound by time. We have 3 degrees of freedom. Time is what binds us. So if you go into the fourth dimension, you would be able to move through time at a point back and forth. You can move through time freely. You would have 4 degrees of freedom. So, but what we can do is we can project our 3-dimensional likeness. We can project from the three dimension to 2 dimension. We do it every day, and it's called your shadow. Your shadow is a 3-dimensional projection from the 3rd dimension to the 2nd dimension.
I don't think you understand how dumb human beings are in general.
Well, no, I do. Trust me, I do. I dealt with it. What I'm saying is this could be a projection. So this is called the holographic theory. It's a projection from a higher dimension down to our dimension. Okay. And they're not really interacting with us. But if they are doing that, then we have a problem, because that's technology that we really don't know how to defeat.
Well, any of it is a problem, because none of what we see or what anybody else is seeing there with these UAPs are close to what we have. You know what I mean? So
you're right.
We're all
you're
right. Like, is there invasion? No, if they wanted to invade and take us over, it would have happened by now.
I don't know that they're malevolent. I don't know if they're benevolent. What I think is, I want to apply Occam's razor, or I want to use the KISS principle, or both. The simplest explanation tends to be the truth. But here in this one, there is no simple explanation.
Correct.
And you can't keep it simple. There's something out there. Something's going on. I personally believe that these are non-terrestrial. they have an origin somewhere else, whether it's in another dimension or, I personally believe it's in our dimension. I think somehow they have got the technology that they could warp space and freeze out time. That's just my thinking. So I believe these things are real. I believe they're non-terrestrial, and I
agree with that.
That's what I can tell you guys.
Fascinating. Well, I mean, we could keep talking about this topic for a very long time, but I think I'm getting word from another dimension that this segment is coming to an end, and we're going to come back though with more alien talk. We're going to have a fun topic. This is kind of a heavy topic, but it is very fascinating and interesting, and you got to pay attention out there because this is real shit. But we're going to come back with some fantasy stuff and some fun stuff. Some of our favorite alien.
My fantasy is you in a lingerie.
But there you go. Could be about that, or it could be our favorite alien-themed content out there between movies and television. We're going to bring our list to you, maybe from this dimension, or maybe from another one. After the break.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T. Video game?
It's the video game that lets you pretend you're E.T., running away from secret agents, falling into danger, finding a phone to call home, and discovering the best thing on earth, a friend. E.T., only from a...
4, 3.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. I'm Tim, Brian, and Dean are here. We've been talking a lot about aliens, UAPs, UFOs, and we're going to talk some more about pop culture aliens. Brian, why don't you just take us in?
Yeah, so we were we're going to lighten up the mood a little bit here, and we're going to talk about, we talked about some real aliens and real UFOs in the news.
That's why they're building that wall.
That's right.
Oh,
exactly.
Wrong aliens. I'm sorry.
Wrong aliens.
They're selling that wall now, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Give for the price of gold.
So we're going to talk some fictional aliens now here, guys. So we're going to do our idiot Mount Rushmore. Why idiot Mount Rushmore? Because it's 5, not 4. It's right. Any combination of your top 5 alien-themed movie or television show. It could be any blend of those that you wish. We'll just go around one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dean, why don't we start with you? Give me one of your favorite alien-themed movies or television shows, sir. Go ahead.
Right, this wasn't easy. There was a lot to choose from.
Yes,
this is my kind of genre, right? This and time travel gives me a fucking nerd boner like nobody's business.
Mm.
Oh, we need to talk about time travel.
Oh, dude, that's my jam.
We'll have some fun with that.
So we have done that before, but we can do more in the future.
Yeah, we can do it in many.
Sure.
Actually, we can just get in a time machine, go back in time, and redo it.
Just do it again. Yeah. Exactly right.
We have the internet.
So, thank you, Al Gore. My first one that I'm going to go with is I'm actually going to go way back, and I'm going to buck the system here and not go with the TV, not go with the movie. God damn it, I'm going 1938 radio broadcast, War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, based on the novel from H.G. Wells' novel. So, War of the Worlds. That thing, I mean, talk about
it scared people. Yeah.
I'm telling you, 1938, they were going ape shit. Mm-hmm. I was in high school, and I read in the paper that they were going to broadcast it on whatever station. I think it was KSU, right? So I go down in my room. My room's in the basement, and I flip it on. I'm like, I want to experience this. So I sit down. Everything else is off. I'm just gonna listen to the radio. My brother comes down. he's a fucking idiot. So he comes down and he sits down and is like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm trying to listen to this. And he starts listening to it. He starts freaking out because he didn't, just like a lot of people back in 38, he didn't hear the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
He just heard this radio broadcast talking about these aliens, and he started freaking out. And I'm holding in my laughter, but I'm also just, it is the moment when I actually wanted to be on the radio, because that moment I realized the power from 80 years or whatever difference, and that broadcast still had the power to do what it was intended to do originally. It was amazing, a beautiful sight. I got a kick out of it. I've always loved it. The movies are what they are, but the broadcast, not only itself, the portrayal, but the pop culture significance that it had is why it's number one on my list for my Mount Rushmore.
Very good.
Well, Brian will remember. I think Brian will remember this being on TV. You were probably too young because you're a Xenial. Do you remember the day after the show that was on TV?
Yes,
because of what happened with War of the Worlds,
I remember.
The day after actually had caveats at the commercials when they came back from commercial. There was a caveat. This is a broadcast. This is a fictional broadcast.
Right.
Because
they had to do that. They had to do that whole interview thing at the end of it because people were so traumatized. They knew they were going to be traumatized, so they had the actresses and actors or whatever in like an interview at the end. Yeah, that shit was crazy. That was some scary shit.
It was.
I was a kid in the 80s, so like that shit is probably where, if you want to trace back to where my anxiety and panic attack come from, it's probably from that fucking movie.
Yeah, that was intense. All right, Tim, give me one off your list, sir. One of your favorite alien, UFO themed movies or shows.
Because there were so many of these, I had to group them together, and that's the Alien, Predator, Alien versus Predator, all those franchises wrapped into one. Because you can't mention one without the others.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That's good.
They were just great movies, in my opinion. I mean, even Prometheus, as boring as it was at times, was a good movie, in my opinion. Just, I enjoy watching them. And who doesn't like to see Arnold Schwarzenegger kick an alien's ass? I mean, it's just
one ugly motherfucker.
That's right. So and then good. Carl Weathers came in and kicked his ass. It's just great Rocky shit.
Yeah, Jesse the Body Ventura giving one of the greatest lines in cinema. I ain't got time to bleed.
Time to bleed.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Yes.
There's a picture. I think it's a recent picture of. I think it was from today or sometime this week. Arnold Schwarzenegger was meeting. I think it was a Carl Weathers, somebody, and they're doing the whole huge.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, they're reenacting that scene. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, absolutely.
But the AVP movies were also really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right.
The newest one. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say how great that Prey was. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was so badass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Well done. We raved about that over the summer last summer. And yeah. If you have not seen that, go back. It's like a Predator in Native
like 1500s American.
Yeah. Just so good. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to give you a lighthearted one here. This is one of my favorite television shows as a kid in grade school, and it definitely paved the way of the career of the great Robin Williams, Mork and Mindy.
Yep.
Super popular. Robin Williams was fantastic, and the suspenders he had, the rainbow suspenders, like the finger pointing and the moon and all that. I remember just even those were very popular in the stores just because of the great Robin Williams. I had a Mork action figure as a kid, and it was just everything, everywhere. Posters.
Did you own the suspenders?
I did not own the suspenders.
I actually would have picked that you had the suspenders. I would have put money on it. All right.
No, that was at another level there, but I definitely had the. I'm sure I had
the
pictures
lunchbox
in my room. Yeah.
Sure.
super popular in grade school era in Gen X for
Very
sure.
good.
So Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy
great
was a
Robin Williams.
spinoff of Happy Days.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That's right.
Nanu
Mork made an
Nanu.
appearance. That's right.
Stole Fonzie's cool.
The Fonz meets an alien. There you
No,
go.
first of all, the
yeah.
Fonz broke. Everybody else was frozen. The Fonz broke that shit because he was so cool. So,
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
You're
Dean,
right.
What's the next? What's the next on your
All
list?
right. So you're going to go your childhood. I'm going to go mine. I'm going to go from 1986 to 1990. This little guy loved cats. His name was Alf.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
I went back and watched Alf a few years ago, and Nick's raving about it. But I went back a few years back, and it did not hold up. I'm willing to go back again and try it again. But as a kid, I fucking loved Alf. I had the fucking whole doll.
I used to watch Alf.
It was so good. He was Bugs Bunny. He was Groucho Marx. You know what I mean? Like he was that wise ass character that I loved. He was Harry T. Stone. I mean, go down the whole line of them, right? He had that wit and the one-liners that I, as a youth, little Dean, young Dean, was all in for Alf. So
sure. Yep.
Well, I had read somewhere a while back they were talking about rebooting Alf.
They've been trying to for what I've heard movies. I've heard trying to do it as a rated R movie. It's been in Hollywood bouncing around for quite a few years now.
I would like to see an adult version of Alf. That would be great.
That is what I need. I don't need the family shit.
No.
Give me Alf the way
feel good shit. Yeah.
Right.
Let me see him eating cats.
Pick it up to where it left off. He got captured by the government, which is one of the weirdest ends of any series. He could be
because it wasn't supposed to be the end of the series.
Okay.
It got canceled.
I see.
But they did a TV movie like 5 years later. If you go back and you can find it, it was on NBC, but it was a 2-hour TV movie of Alf in the government facility.
Oh,
it's so fucking bizarre. Martin Sheen is like the head bad guy general. It's crazy.
Wow.
If you get a chance, look it up. It's the Alf TV movie. It was, I think, like 5 years later, but it's pretty awesome.
Okay. We have to get some gummies and have a viewing, I think.
That'd be good.
Absolutely, man. I'm thinking that's what I need. I need to be baked while we're talking about this.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Whose turn is it? Tim?
It's mine. But, man, I feel bad because there were so many. I pretty much stayed with movies, but Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, very good.
Damn it, that was gonna be my next one.
Yes.
That's still one of my favorite movies to watch.
Absolutely.
This means something. This means something, And I actually got to go out to Devil's Tower. And that was the first thing I said. This means something. And nobody got it. Nobody got that. What that was. I'm like, Close Encounters. Come on. I was with nerds. They should have known. I don't know.
You should have bitch slapped every one of them after that.
Yeah.
I think they were all millennial nerds. They don't know anything.
Fucking millennials.
Yeah, great movie. Richard Dreyfuss, fantastic. That movie, Tim, that was I think that was the only movie I can recall that was just my dad and I went to go see. Usually it was mom, dad, and I went to go to the movies and everything else. But just dad took me to go see that movie. I had a Close Encounters shirt way back in the day, like an old Ringer style T-shirt with the ship and everything like that.
Now I want to find that shirt.
I had Close Encounters Trapper Keeper.
Hold on, awesome. I'm getting, guys. Hold on, give me a sec. Oh, I'm getting the Dean fact of the night is coming in. Tim, you might know and remember who J. Allen Hynek is.
I know the name. Why do I know the name?
Because J. Allen Hynek was the original, kind of not director, but he worked and did the whole Project Blue Book. He was the astronomer from Ohio State who was recruited by the government to come in and run Project Blue Book. Well, he spent so many years trying to, via the government standards, telling everybody swamp gas and Venus and all this stuff is what you saw. Towards the end of his career, he switched over and goes, you know what? No, this is all real. He wrote books about it. He was an adamant UFOologist. And he actually not only did he worked on the Close Encounters of the Third Kind as a
consultant.
There you go. Thank you, Brian. But he also, when in the scene when the aliens are coming down and all the scientists come out to greet him, he is one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So J. Allen Hynek, that's a long way around this tree, but the fact of the day is J. Allen Hynek did a cameo as a scientist in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Can I tell you a real quick story? Just real quick. I was working late one night at NASIC. I had a night shift, and I was going out to have a cigarette, and I ran into the NASIC historian. He was in the hallway, and he looked at me and said, "Do you know what they kept in that over there?" I said, "Well, that's an office." He said, "Yeah, but you know what it was?" I said, "No." He said, "Project Blue Book." I'm like,
awesome.
He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "They kept Project Blue Book here." He's like, "Yeah." So that kind of freaked me out a little bit, man. But that's cool. I knew that name Hynek from somewhere.
I actually, the family has agreed. If we get another cat, I get to name it Hynek.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That'd be a good dog's name,
right?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, I think you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to. There's so many. Like the whole series was not based on aliens, certainly at various topics and all that, but several episodes were alien or UFO themed. So I'm going to put it in here. One of my favorite shows of all time, The Twilight Zone.
Oh,
actually,
get that wrong. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, not X-Files. Actually, you know what? I never watched the X-Files.
Really?
Never watched it. Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Wasn't against it. Anyway, it might be on some of your lists, but the Twilight Zone
truth is out there.
Several episodes were alien themed. My favorite episode, To Serve Man, which the great Richard Keel, who was later Jaws in the James Bond movies, a giant alien. So aliens come down. They have this book.
It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
Yeah, that end line is fabulous.
Absolutely.
So. Yes, if you've never seen that episode, go back and watch To Serve Man, the original Twilight Zone episode. I can't remember what season it was, but awesome. But there were several episodes that are alien or UFO themed, all very well done in their own respect. So that's what I'm giving you. That's on my top 5.
I'm going to interject a little other pop culture here for you. You guys will dislike this, but Rush made a song called The Twilight Zone.
There you go.
And it was about different episodes. One of them was about, one of the episodes was Serving Man.
Excellent.
So
there you go.
They were huge Twilight Zone fans and Rod Sterling fans. I'm a huge Rod Sterling fan. So
that's cool.
The Twilight Zone to this day, if I'm flipping through channels, I don't have cable anymore. I stream. But if I was flipping through channels, I would have to stop and watch the Twilight Zone episodes. It was a must. So
absolutely. I bought the box set, Tim. I have all the episodes now recently. You can find the first 5 seasons for free on, I think it's Pluto TV on demand.
Shit,
you can check that out there.
You're such a fan. You got tattoos on your arms about them, Brian.
I do. That's right. Tattoos on my arm. Yes. A few Twilight Zone themed tattoos. Thank you very much. And these were done by one of our sponsors here, Scott Oswald at Golden Heart Tattoos. You may find them in beautiful Norton, Ohio. Find them on Facebook at Golden Heart Norton and ORTON if you're in the Northeast Ohio area. Find them online at goldenhearttattoos.com or give them a call at 234-706-2982. Get yourself an alien or UFO themed or a Twilight Zone themed tattoo courtesy of Scott Oswald.
It's upside down, but Scott did, and this is a spaceship on my arm right here.
Very good. Awesome.
Scott did that.
Excellent. I'm going to get more Twilight Zone.
I want to show off my tattoo, man.
There you go. All right.
Well, so what's this on your list, Dean? Go ahead.
Mine next on my list. I have a lot of movies, but like I'm really feeling like the nostalgia. And if you're gonna go Mount Rushmore, that means like the best of the best original. So
right.
God damn it, why don't we go from 1963 to 1966? The television show My Favorite Martian.
Oh wow.
The Martian was Ray Walston, and it gave America Bill Bixby before he
Yes.
was the Incredible Hulk.
That's right. That's right.
My Favorite Martian.
That's right.
Wasn't
remember
Bill
watching-
Bixby on?
I used to watch some of his reruns.
Yeah, I grew up watching those reruns as a kid, and
Mm-hmm.
the little metal antennas coming out of the back of his head.
Yep.
The noise, and I loved it. So
Yeah,
let's go OG.
that's good. That was 60s television at its finest, right there.
63
Yes,
to
indeed.
66.
Yeah, wow.
Hey, America was first introduced to Bill Bixby on my best friend. Oh man, I can't remember the name of the show now.
Courtship of Eddie's Father.
The Courtship of Eddie's Father. That's right.
Yeah. When he was much younger then. You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
That's right.
Yep.
Tim, what's next on your list, sir?
Wow. I have a list here, but I'm just gonna have to.
Wing
I have
it.
to say Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Good.
Very good.
Leonard Nimoy was the first time I ever saw him when he wasn't Spock.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you also had Donald Sutherland in it. I can't remember who the woman was.
Yes. What was her name? Go ahead.
Man,
That's the 70s version. It's on my watch list. I've still not seen the original 70s version of that movie.
That's the one you want to watch because it's very
creepy.
It's creepy, it's surreal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a movie I probably watched 6 times. I haven't watched it in the last 30 years, but
I'm trying to find that girl's name, but I just want to give you guys a heads up when you're Googling Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Don't hit the send button too soon before you type in ERS. You get something totally different. I just want to give you guys a heads up.
Yeah, that's messed up, bro.
Yeah, not really. These are actually what I'm looking at is just okay. All right. I can't find it. Anyways. So, Brian,
wait a minute.
Did you? Okay. So is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. I had, since Tim already mentioned the kind of lumped in these, I had Predator on my list as on its own. I think those movies are very cool and unique. But since it was mentioned, I'll swap it out with. This is one of my favorite 60s rerun shows. Dean, I used to watch after school all the time. The show was, full of aliens and exploring and all that. With the Robinson family of the original Lost in Space television show. Billy Mummy,
right.
whatever.
Yes.
Obviously, they had a fan that was based on the family. It was a human family, but they definitely fought aliens, and they were an alien, life forms there. They flew on like a UFO-looking spaceship and all that. So I'm going to say it fits the category. The original Lost in Space.
Because if you think about
terrific.
When they go to all those planets, they are the aliens.
That's actually a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
You're correct. That's a great point. Yes. Dean, what else you got?
All right. I got 3. My number 4. Oh, fuck. Let's just have fun with this. Will Smith has given us a lot of great movies throughout the history, and it's hard to decide between the two. So I'm just going to say what I think is solidly the better film, and it's because the lines are corny and it's cheesy, but you have the speech by Bill Pullman that is just awe-inspiring. I'm going with Independence Day as my number 4.
A lot of fun.
Do not go quietly into that good night.
Exactly. It's such... It is inspiring. I will kick an alien's ass. I will punch him in his alien face after hearing Bill Pullman give me that speech.
And as we know, Dean, we did a prior episode of our favorite fictional presidents of all time, and
Yes.
Bill Pullman
Was our number
favorite.
one. Yep, he was our number
From
one.
that movie. Yep, very good.
So how could this movie not be on this list then?
I agree.
Right.
Great movie. A lot of fun. Tim, what else you got, sir?
That was my number 2, by the way, Independence Day.
There you go.
Brooke Adams. Brooke Adams is the actress in Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978.
There you go.
Okay, so since I don't have I don't have Independence Day anymore. I'm gonna have to go with V.
V, yes.
Both the 1980 version and the newer version from like 2010.
I did not see the new version.
It was good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Hey, it's got Marina Baccarin in it, and I'm sorry, Serenity, V, anything that has her in it, Deadpool, I watch it.
Yeah. That original series too. I think that was ahead of its time a little bit on the.
Absolutely.
That was scary.
Especially when they showed them eating the guinea pigs.
Oh man,
that mouth opened up. I was just like, and then you find out that they're taking the humans for food. And you're like, oh crap. So yeah.
And as Dee pointed out previously, V introduced the great Robert Englund before he was Freddy Krueger back in his time.
Right.
Was that before?
Willie?
That was before?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Okay. Very good. V was very good. The premise was aliens were living among us. You didn't know who they were. They were hiding. They were reptilian-looking aliens, and they looked like they wore human disguises. It was very creepy. And it was the human resistance rising up. Go ahead.
Jane Badler, Diana, her eyes. I know as a kid that what was the 1983. Jesus, it was 1983. So I had obviously, because I was born in 81, so I couldn't have had these thoughts as 2. So I had to. They reran them over and over throughout the 80s, right? And I remember and she was in multiple different things, but I remember watching V, thinking she's the bad guy, but that little Dean Pecker down there is moving, just looking at her eyes. Her eyes were just amazing. It was just, oh my God.
Hey, Nightmare on Elm Street was 1984, and V came out.
V was 83,
so they were simultaneous. No, I got it 84 here.
I have 83 right here. But
do you really? IMDb's telling me 84.
Well, maybe 83 was when they filmed it.
It was a miniseries first. You're right. It was a miniseries.
Yes.
That's right. My bad.
That's right. All right. My next one, I'm wearing a shirt here that has it right on it. And if you cannot see my shirt, it's 2 aliens in front of a sign. They're like news reporters, and it says, watch TV. One of my favorite science fiction movies of all time. They Live, with the great late Roddy Piper. So much fun. Allie and I went as these aliens a couple of Halloweens ago, and we had a lot of fun.
It's been a backyard movie we've watched.
Absolutely. I just got the DVD, like the special edition Blu-ray. Dean wants to check that out in the backyard or otherwise. A lot of fun.
Hands down, the greatest single fight scene.
That is up there.
Fisticuffs fight scene.
Yeah. One of the probably one of the longest, unusually longest fights in cinematic history. But if you've not seen this movie, go check it out. You've probably heard some lines from it, but the premise is aliens. Again, it really is a cult classic. Aliens are living among us, controlling us, and you cannot see them until you have these special Ray-Ban sunglasses that reveals them, and it's this whole resistance trying to uncover them and expose them. Super fun. Roddy Piper was terrific in this movie, as were other performances as well. Absolutely, and this is up there for the most beautiful mullet in movie history.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper in that movie.
What about Joe Dirt?
That's up there too, but this Roddy was a natural. That was his
I was going to say, Joe Dirt was meant to be the joke. Roddy Piper's because he just knew he fucking looked cool.
Yeah. One of the greatest lines in movie history. If I've come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Improvised, I'm sure, right there on the spot. It was just fabulous.
You got to say with the Calgary accent. I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yes, that's going to be a tattoo. I'm going to get a "They Live" tattoo at some point.
That's
I made that decision.
Yep.
No, probably not that. But anyway, all right, Dean. What else you got?
All right, my fifth one. I'm surprised of you two that it is not on here. It should be the staple. It should be the one. It should be the only. Ladies and gentlemen, 1982's E.T.
That's up there. Sure.
Come on, it's right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is the. It was Elliot. I mean, it did everything from put a goddamn candy on the map.
Yes.
With Reese's Pieces. to launch the careers of Drew Barrymore. I mean, it was.
Well, she was a kid, man. I mean, she was like 5 years old in that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie, you're right, it was a whole different tone of aliens back then, because usually the aliens were the invaders or the visitors and all that. This was, you instantly fell in love with this alien, with these kids trying to protect it from the bad guys were the U.S. government here, right? So
Steven Spielberg was offered Independence Day and he turned it down because of the aliens being the bad guys.
Yes.
He never wanted to portray, maybe he knows something we don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Sure.
Well, he paid tribute to Close Encounters in Indiana Jones.
Right?
That's right.
So,
Tim, I think with E.T., I'm 99% sure. I think you and I went and saw that movie together in the theater, if I'm not mistaken.
With my mom. My mom took us.
Yes, that's right.
My mom took us. Yep.
That's right.
Nice.
I remember you and I were both fighting off the tears, trying to be tough guys, and I think we both were crying at that movie because it's hard. Who can't cry
when that flower wilted? And that plant wilted and everything. I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah.
I was hiding my face.
Oh, that's right. That's a nice memory. You and I with your mom, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
I remember that.
Nice.
That's like yesterday.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to go with this. May not be a popular one with people, but Signs by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When they
Gibson?
show those kids with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix and one of the McCulkins, and but when they show the kids either in Colombia or Venezuela having the party, and then you see the alien walk out, I shit my pants, man. I almost ran out of the theater. I mean, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, because that's exactly how I expect it to happen. It was just sitting around and everybody saying, what's that? And then all of a sudden you see the green, got the camouflage guy walk by and you're like, oh shit, that's an alien. So, and crop circles still freak me out.
Sure.
I love to see a good crop circle.
Creepy movie, for sure.
I put crop circles in my pants occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Brian, what do you got?
Very disturbing, Dean.
Yeah, it is.
My number one.
I'll send you pictures. Go ahead, Brian.
My number one is actually one of my favorite movies, period, of all time. It recently, I think it was a year or so ago, celebrated its 35th anniversary. Allie and her daughter and I went to go see the 35th anniversary screening in the theater. Kurt Russell at his finest. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Love that movie. You go back and it holds up today. I don't want to see any remakes, none of that shit. But the original, and actually this is a remake. If this is not the original theatrical version of The Thing, but John Carpenter's The Thing, just awesome.
Made me never want to go to the Arctic.
Yeah,
trust me, that's not the only thing stopping me from going to the Arctic.
Well, I mean, there's more now, but back then it stopped.
That's my 5. I'll have honorable mentions coming up here. So, Dean, what's next on your list?
No, that's my 5 too.
Okay, Tim, did you have your 5th, or we all had 5?
He did 5.
Yeah, Signs was my 5th. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get on to honorable mentions. Oh no, you want to recap first? Yeah. No, let's do recap first.
Okay.
All right, my recap. I have E.T., Alf, my favorite Martian, Independence Day, and War of the Worlds, the radio edition.
Very good. Tim, what was your 5?
Mine was the Alien Predator, Aliens versus Predator franchise, Close Encounters, V, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Signs.
Very good. I had Twilight Zone, namely To Serve Man, the number 1, Mork and Mindy. I swapped out Predator with the Lost in Space television series, the original, They Live, and The Thing. All good stuff. All right, give me an honorable mention, or you can just rattle off your honorable mentions.
There's way too many. I'll do 2 at a time for me here.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm doing everybody's favorite alien duck with Howard the Duck from 1986.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to win you back on this one because I have 1980. We moved 2 years ahead with 1988 and go Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Ooh, no, that's a good one.
Right?
That's what made me afraid of clowns.
I won you back. Yeah.
Yes.
I won you back on that.
Yeah, that's if you've not seen that, as one of the best B movies, in my opinion, of all time.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I always liked
so crazy.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That was always my favorite.
That's a good
Critter.
one, too.
Critter was good.
Boy. Yeah, Killer Clowns is a good one. Alien Clowns. There you go. Kill people.
Let's stop there because let's put a pin in B movies as a topic.
I like that. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back on that one. Okay.
Have me in for that. I love B movies.
Sure.
Honorable mentions. Battlestar Galactica, even though it's not really alien based.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's still aliens in that. Yep.
Both the 1979, 1980, and the newest one that came out.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the X-Files. The X-Files gets an honorable mention.
Sure,
the truth is out there.
It should.
I do like the X-Files. So.
Very good. Excellent. I've got some overlap here. Again, I had Alien as a honorable mention. V. I also had Tim on my list as honorable mention. The Day the Earth Stood Still. This is the original black and white one, not the Keanu Reeves one. The original movie. Very good. Very powerful. It really, shows, something comes down in peace, and then people can't fucking resist shooting it, and it caused a lot of problem. And Al reminded me of this show today. I used to watch this show, and I kind of forgot about it. The great John Lithgow and others, Third Rock from the Sun.
That was going to be my next honorable mention.
Yeah, very good series.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I watched every episode of that. So very, very, very good. Fred Stewart. There's a lot of crazy, a lot of good actors on that show. A lot of fun. Yep, that's what I had. Any other ones, Dean?
All right, some honorable mentions. Cocoon. Yeah, that was about aliens. They made the guys young and
sure. That's right.
Cocoon, and then Resident Alien, which is one of the newer ones. It's from 2021. It's a couple seasons in. It's I think it's about to start the third season with Alan Tudyk, who he was KC-10 whatever from Andor. He was the robot's voice, among so many other things.
He was the pilot in Serenity and Firefly.
Yes, absolutely. So
and he was the squire in A Knight's Tale.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
They wanted to kick the shit out of everybody.
Right. So Resident Alien. If you're not watching it, it's coming back on the third season. Go back and watch the first 2 seasons. He's great. It's great. So
very good. Tim, any other ones?
Yeah, The Forbidden Planet. Robbie the Robot was introduced. Great show.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Gotta go with there was really no alien. Well, I guess there might have been an alien. I'm not sure, but 2001, The Space Odyssey.
Sure.
2001, yeah. 2001, A Space Odyssey. It's certainly those monoliths had a very alien
Right.
feel to them and everything.
Somebody had to put them
and
there.
Hal went all batshit crazy on everybody. So
Right.
I'm gonna have to go with 2001.
That's actually probably how this podcast ends too.
That's right. We could certainly say, I mean, you can make an argument that the entire Star Wars franchise is full of alien
Right.
creatures and everything. Certainly, outer space and everything. We don't really think it's a traditional aliens, more of a science fiction thing, but there's tons of aliens in that. And we talked about the day that Earth stood still. There was a lesser known movie, the day that Carrollton, Ohio stood still. And the reason it stood still is because a new business was launched in the area, RPM Bike Shop. Go check them out. Science fiction at its best, where you blend bicycles and electricity. You get an electric bike, a bike you could ride without pedaling. Imagine that. It's freaky, it's scary, but you can have one of your very own. If you go check them out on Facebook, RPM Bike Shop, or give them a call at 330-808-7792, and check out the beautiful alien-like terrain of Carrollton, Ohio, and get yourself a lap on camera and an electric bike. There you go. Dean's camera just fell. If you'd, yeah. Who are you holding up there?
Hey, can I have one more honorable mention? Just
Sure.
one more? Because I'm in Beaver Creek over here by Dayton, and I feel remiss if I don't mention Super 8. Because that took place here in Dayton around Wright Pat and everything. So it's a good movie.
That was a fun movie. Yeah, very, definitely a Steven Spielberg movie for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
Excellent. Dean, any other ones, sir?
Sorry, the cat jumped off my lap. He got caught in my ear wire and just shit.
That's all right.
I've got Mars Attacks.
Yes. Okay.
And Fire in the Sky. Fire in the Sky was the story about Travis Walton. His story was that he was abducted by aliens, and it shows what he went through on the ship. It is a documented case in real life. Travis Walton and his buddy, they were loggers out in I think Seattle or something, and they went. They were driving home from work. It was dark. They all got out because they saw this spaceship kind of hovering in the woods. He stupidly went closer and closer and closer. He got zapped. He got brought up. His friends run, and the true part, I mean, depending on what you believe, but the true part is his friends were damn near arrested for murder because they couldn't.
But they all passed their polygraphs.
They all passed polygraph tests, but they were all questioned. They thought the authorities thought they killed him until 4 days later, he comes trouncing into town naked, confused, and all beaten up. So Fire in the Sky, Brian. It's not what his story, obviously Hollywood takes the liberties. Read his book other than the movie if you wanted to the actual story, because Hollywood takes liberties, but it's a great movie. It at least gets you interested in kind of that genre and that kind of what could happen if we were being abducted. He says he was. I can't say that he wasn't. But it's a good movie nonetheless.
Very good.
All right, I agree. It's a good movie.
D.B. Sweeney.
Okay. Excellent. Guys, a lot of great selections here. This is a huge topic. We can be sure we can continue to talk about this. Plenty more ideas we come up with, I'm quite certain. But I think our primary lists and honorable mentions are great. It's a lot of great movie nights watching those movies. Certainly the intrigue and the science fiction of UFOs and aliens is Again, fascinating in the movies and, certainly these days in real life. So before we are abducted and before we travel to another dimension, we're going to take us out on this episode.
Can I just plug one thing?
Sure, go right ahead, please.
Just anybody that watches or anything, if you happen to see UAP take pictures, send me an email at unravelingthemystery2112 at gmail.com. I would like to hear from people, see what they have. I would like to get some evidence, and maybe either I can explain it or not explain it. And that's all.
Thanks for tuning in from whatever dimension you're watching or listening right now. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Find us on YouTube. And have we convinced you?
They exist.
They exist. Thank you.
Believe. Everybody, the truth is out there. Believe.
That's right. And believe another episode.
And if you're an alien, send us news. Right?
Nude aliens. That's nice.
Alien titties.
I like that. Yeah.
Ham gravy.
Thanking. Hold on. I realized the microphone's on this one. And it was like down here. Alright. I have to plug this in. Alright, do it again.
Thanking you.
Oh.